the moment the livestream began. The energy in the comments was already charged. Fans had been waiting all week for this Q&A with Yandy and Mendeecees, expecting the usual cute banter and family updates. But what they got instead felt like a public explosion in slow motion. The first few minutes were normally Yandy laughing, waving, adjusting her hair, trying to settle into the couch beside Mendeecees. Then someone dropped the comment that changed everything. Is it true Yandy's pregnant again? For a second, the air froze. Yandy looked down, smiled nervously, then glanced at Mendeecees as if waiting for him to answer. He chuckled under his breath, leaned back, and said, "Nah, don't believe everything y'all hear." The way he said it, calm, dismissive, with a half smile, was enough to ignite chaos. The chat went wild. "What you mean nah? She's glowing. Yandy just posted baby shoes last week." The questions flew in faster than she could read them. She tried to laugh it off, saying, "Babe, stop playing," but Mendeecees didn't flinch. He said, "I'm serious. People keep making up stories. Ain't no baby coming from here." You could see the shift in her face. Her hand, which had been resting gently on her lap, pulled away. She cleared her throat, blinked, then said quietly, "So that's what we're doing now." For the next 30 seconds, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the wave of comments flooding in, fans gasping, typing in all caps, some begging him to take it back, others demanding the truth. One fan wrote, "Not you denying her live." Another, "Yandy looks hurt, FR." Mendeecees shrugged, still avoiding eye contact. "I'm just keeping it real. People out here saying things that ain't true. I don't want no false narratives." Her voice trembled when she finally spoke. "False narratives? Mendeecees, you were the one who told me to keep it private until we were ready." He cut her off mid-sentence. "And I told you I didn't want no more drama. That's what I said." The comment section exploded again. The chat couldn't believe what they were seeing, one of reality TV's most iconic couples, unraveling in real time. Yandy's expression shifted from confusion to disbelief, then to quiet anger. "So now I'm the drama," she whispered. "You know what you're doing," he replied, still calm, still looking everywhere but at her. The moment felt painfully real. Her eyes glistened, and she forced a laugh to keep her voice steady. "Wow. Live in front of the whole world. You really just said that?" And that was when fans realized something deeper was happening. This wasn't a playful misunderstanding. This was a crack in their marriage, widening by the second. Someone commented, "This ain't no prank. She's really crying." While another wrote, "Mendeecees gaslighting her live, oh my god." As the minutes passed, tension thickened. The couple's chemistry, once their biggest strength, now looked like a battlefield. She tried to redirect the conversation, asking fans about their day, but her voice shook each time she smiled. Mendeecees leaned back, scrolling through his phone, barely participating. The contrast was striking her, trying to hold it together, him pretending nothing happened. And just when people thought it couldn't get worse, a notification popped up on the screen. Erica Mena joined the live. The chat lost control. Fans screamed in the comments, "Erica! Not Erica joining right now. This is getting messy." Yandy's face went pale, while Mendeecees' smirk returned for the first time that night. That single moment, his smirk, her silence, Erica's name glowing in the corner of the screen, was enough to turn the internet upside down. Within minutes, blogs started reposting clips. Fans started recording screens, and hashtag Mendeecees denies Yandy began trending. No one knew the truth yet, but everyone felt it. Something inside that marriage had just broken, and the world had front row seats to the fallout. Under the bright studio lights, Yandy sat frozen, her hands still on her lap while Mendeecees scrolled through his phone, as if nothing had happened. The live chat was flooding faster than the camera could keep up, emojis flashing across the screen, hearts mixing with angry faces. It wasn't just a live stream anymore, it was a digital battlefield, and every fan had picked a side. Some were defending Yandy, writing "We believe you, queen," while others were calling Mendeecees out by name. "You really doing her like this on camera?" Yandy's voice cracked slightly when she spoke again, trying to sound calm. "So, you really gonna sit here and act like that's not true?" Her words came out slow, trembling, but still sharp enough to sting. Mendeecees didn't even look up. "What's true?" he said flatly. "People talk all the time. I'm not feeding that." She gave a soft, bitter laugh, the kind that hides pain under composure. "Feeding that? You think this is just gossip?" He finally looked up, eyes narrowed. "What you mean? We both know what people been saying. I'm just letting them know it's not true." Yandy leaned closer to him, her voice quiet but fierce. So you denying it? Right here. After everything. The tension was heavy enough to make even the fans stop typing for a moment. He sighed, leaning back against the couch, arms crossed. I'm denying lies, Yandy. If you saying something different, that's on you. Her lips parted like she wanted to speak, but nothing came out. She just stared at him, eyes glassy, chest rising and falling faster. The room felt colder. She turned to the camera with a forced smile, trying to mask her breaking point. Okay, y'all, let's move on, she said softly. We're here to spread love, right? But her tone cracked midway, and fans caught it instantly. Comments poured in. Yandy crying FR. This ain't no fake beef. Mendeecees wrong for this. He leaned forward, shaking his head, mumbling something that sounded like this, why I hate doing lives. She ignored it, reaching for her water bottle, hands trembling just enough for viewers to notice. The comments wouldn't stop. Why she look hurt? He, acting to calm. Is Erica involved? That last one made him glance toward the screen again, jaw tightening. Then, out of nowhere, a familiar name appeared again. Erica Mena. Someone wrote, Erica was just live with him last week, and Yandy's head whipped around. What? She said, under her breath, but loud enough for the mic to catch. What live? He shifted uncomfortably, scratching the back of his neck. Nothing, man. People be making stuff up. I ain't been on live with nobody but you. She wasn't convinced. You sure about that? She said, eyes narrowing. He stayed quiet, looking down again. For the next few minutes, she tried to keep her composure, answering fan questions and laughing when needed, but her smile never reached her eyes. Mendeecees stayed quiet, scrolling, nodding occasionally, his body language screaming disinterest. Fans noticed everything: the distance, the coldness, the absence of connection that used to define them. Suddenly, a fan's comment popped up that froze both of them. Yandy, we saw your ultrasound pic last week. What's going on, FR? She blinked, lips parting slightly. But before she could answer, Mendeecees spoke up. That's old, he said quickly, his tone defensive. That picture ain't even from now. Yandy turned slowly to face him, eyes wide in disbelief. Old, she repeated quietly. That was from last week. Mendeecees, he shook his head. Nah, you posted that on your story by mistake. It wasn't what people think. You really gonna sit here and rewrite reality? Her voice dropped, low and sharp. You were the one who took me to that appointment. You held my hand. He shifted in his seat, rubbing his chin. Look, I'm just saying we don't know what's what yet. I ain't confirming something until it's confirmed. That sentence hit like a slap. Fans began typing in disbelief. Did he just say until it's confirmed? This man is wild. Yandy deserves better. She leaned closer, her tone breaking. Confirmed. What are you talking about? I'm telling you, I'm pregnant. He stared at her, his face unreadable. And I'm saying, I don't know yet. Things happen. I ain't trying to embarrass nobody. The silence that followed was unbearable. Her hand moved to her stomach unconsciously, and fans caught it instantly. Screenshots began circulating within seconds. Yandy just touched her belly. One fan wrote, It's real. She pregnant for real. Mendeecees muttered, Man, I told you this, what I didn't want. She turned sharply. What you didn't want? A baby? A family? He exhaled, running a hand over his face. Nah, I'm saying I didn't want to deal with this mess again. Every time something happens, the blogs blow it up. I wanted peace. Her laugh was bitter. Peace? You think denying me is peace? Peace for who? Mendeecees. The comment section filled with fire emojis, fans reacting in real time to every word. One said, This marriage on life support. Another, Yandy, too strong for this mess. Yandy's voice softened, trembling with emotion. You could have said anything. You could have just stayed silent. But to sit here and deny me in front of the whole world. He looked away, eyes fixed on the corner of the screen. People gonna believe what they want, he said quietly. Her shoulders dropped, and for the first time, tears slipped down her face. She wiped them quickly, whispering, You don't even care. The chat blew up, hearts, angry faces, crying emojis flooding the screen. Fans started tagging other cast members. Somebody check on Yandy. Where's K. Michelle? Get Erica outta here. Then a notification appeared. Spice joined the live. The comments section exploded again. Not Spice joining. Oh, it's about to get real. Spice commented almost immediately. Yandy, you okay, sis? The question hung heavy on the screen. Yandy smiled weakly. Yeah, I'm good sis, just a little miscommunication. Mendeecees leaned toward the camera with a grin that looked forced. Ain't no miscommunication, just people making stories again? Spice replied. Then why Yandy look like she about to cry though? The room went dead silent. Mendeecees forced a laugh. Spice always starting something, but his voice cracked slightly. Yandy stood up, mumbling something about needing water, and walked off camera. Mendeecees tried to play it cool. See what y'all did, now she mad. Fans flooded the chat again. You did that, stop blaming her. We all saw it. Within minutes, clips were already trending across social media platforms. Each titled differently. Mendeecees denies Yandy pregnancy. Yandy breaks down on live. Spice calls out Mendeecees. When Yandy returned, her face was composed, but her eyes were red. She sat down slowly and said softly, I just want to clear something up. I don't owe nobody explanations, but since it's already out there, yes, I'm pregnant. And, no, I'm not ashamed of it. Fans cheered in the comments. We love you Yandy. Congrats queen, don't let him steal your joy. Mendeecees stayed silent, jaw tight, eyes locked on his phone. After a few seconds, he finally said, You could have told me you were gonna say that. She looked at him, expression calm but firm. You could have supported me instead of denying me. The tension was suffocating. Every second of silence echoing louder than words. He looked at her, exhaled deeply, and muttered, We'll talk about this later. But it was too late. Fans had already decided where they stood. The internet was ablaze, and the frost between them had never felt colder. The live ended abruptly after Yandy whispered, We'll talk about this later. And the screen went black, leaving millions of fans staring at their phones in disbelief. Within seconds, clips from the stream flooded Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. One fan captioned it, Mendeecees just denied Yandy's pregnancy live oh my god, and it spread like wildfire. Every gossip blog picked it up. Screenshots of Yandy's teary eyes were circulating everywhere, paired with the words he said, it's not confirmed. By midnight, Yandy was trending #1. People were dissecting every second of the live slow motion clips, lip readings, even the reflection in the TV behind them. One fan claimed they saw an open ultrasound photo on the table. Another insisted that Yandy's sister had commented a heart emoji under a congratulations post days ago. The internet wasn't sleeping, and neither was Yandy. Inside their Atlanta home, the silence after the live was almost unbearable. The air felt heavy, thick with words that hadn't been said. Yandy sat on the edge of their bed, still wearing the same outfit from the live. Her makeup had smudged, and her phone kept buzzing every few seconds. SXEs from friends, DMs from fans, calls from producers. Mendeecees paced across the room, muttering to himself, You didn't have to say it like that, she said quietly, breaking the silence. He stopped pacing but didn't turn around. Say what? I didn't say nothing crazy. She let out a tired laugh. You denied me. You denied us. Live in front of the whole world. He rubbed his temples. Man, I was just trying to keep it private. You know how people twist stuff. I didn't mean it like that. Her eyes narrowed. You said I don't know yet. How do you think that sounds? Like I'm lying. He sighed, finally facing her. I ain't say you lying. I said I don't want to jump ahead. We've been through too much. Yandy, I just didn't want to make it a big deal yet. Too late for that, she said sharply. You made it a big deal the moment you denied it. The tension between them thickened. Mendeecees dropped onto the couch across from her, staring at the floor. You know how the internet is. They gone turn this into something ugly. They didn't need help. She replied. You gave them everything they needed. He leaned back, exhaling deeply. Look, I didn't mean to embarrass you. I felt cornered. People asking crazy stuff. And I froze. Yandy shook her head, tears welling again. You didn't freeze. You chose. You chose to protect your image instead of your family. He stood up again, voice rising. You act like I don't love my family. Everything I do is for us. Then why does it never feel like it? She snapped. The room fell quiet again. The sound of her phone buzzing on the nightstand filled the silence. She picked it up, glanced at the screen, then frowned. What now? He asked. Spice just texted me, she said, scrolling quickly. She said Erica posted something. His expression changed immediately. Posted what? Yandy's voice dropped. A story. It's a clip from the live. Zoomed in on your face when she joined. Mendeecees groaned. Man, here we go. She wrote interesting timing, Yandy said, reading aloud. He rubbed his face, mumbling. She always trying to start something. So why did she join? Why was she even watching our live? He shrugged. How I'm supposed to know who watches? Yandy's eyes narrowed. Don't play dumb. You've been texting her again. haven't you? His head snapped up. What? No. Stop with that. Then why she always pop up at the worst times? Because y'all keep dragging her into everything. He shot back. You gave her reason to be in everything, she said coldly. He took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Yandy, you making this worse? You overthinking everything right now? Overthink, she repeated slowly. Mendeecees, I'm carrying your child, and you're calling me dramatic for being hurt. His silence was the loudest response. She stood up, her voice trembling but firm. You've embarrassed me before, but this is different. This is public. I can't walk that back. Mendeecees looked exhausted, rubbing his hands together. You want me to fix it? I'll fix it. I'll go live tomorrow. Say whatever you want. She looked at him for a long moment, then shook her head. You can't fix disrespect with a post. Across social media, things were spiraling. Fans had already started a hashtag Team Yandy versus hashtag Team Mendeecees. Celebrities were chiming in, from Spice to K. Michelle. Even Erica Mena, reposting memes with laughing emojis. A gossip blogger uploaded a video titled Yandy Humiliated Again, showing clips of her crying during the live. The comments were vicious. Inside the house, Yandy sat back down, scrolling through the chaos, every new notification twisting the knife deeper. They calling me stupid, she whispered. Mendeecees sat beside her, trying to look at her phone. Stop reading that mess. They don't know us. They know what you showed them, she said bitterly. He sighed. You think I wanted this? I've been trying to keep us out of drama. That's why I don't even go live no more. And yet here we are, she said. For a few minutes, no one spoke. The only sound was the hum of the air conditioner and the constant vibration of their phones. Finally, Mendeecees muttered, You think I'm the villain, huh? Yandy glanced at him. You think I wanted to be the fool? His shoulders slumped. I ain't mean it like that, I swear. Then you should have said that when the world was watching, she said softly, her voice breaking at the edges. He leaned back, covering his face with his hands. You gon' hate me forever for this, huh? She looked away. I don't hate you. I just don't recognize you anymore. Across town, Spice posted again, this time tagging both of them with the caption, Love ain't supposed to hurt. That post got 500,000 likes in an hour. Mendeecees' phone buzzed again, this time, a text from his mother. He read it quickly and sighed. Even my mom calling me reckless now, he muttered. Yandy stayed silent, staring at her reflection in the dark window. Outside, Atlanta was quiet, but inside their home, everything felt like it was falling apart. And somewhere in that silence, the first crack of what fans were calling the beginning of the end had already formed. The next morning, Atlanta woke up to chaos. Every entertainment page, every blog, every fan account was talking about the same thing. Mendeecees denying Yandy's pregnancy live. Clips had hit 1 million views overnight. Hashtags were still trending, and people were taking sides like it was a public trial. He embarrassed her, one fan wrote under a blog post. You can see the pain in her eyes. Another said, Yandy deserves better, period. The comment sections were a battlefield, but the one thing everyone agreed on was that the moment had changed everything. Inside their house, Yandy hadn't slept. Her phone had died hours ago from constant notifications. She sat at the kitchen counter, staring at a half-drunk cup of coffee. The morning light filtered through the blinds, soft and quiet, the opposite of what her heart felt like. She looked up as Mendeecees walked in, his hoodie pulled low, avoiding her eyes. You ain't sleep either, she asked, voice hoarse from crying. He shook his head, grabbing a bottle of water from the fridge. Nah, couldn't. The silence that followed was sharp. The same kind of silence that sits heavy after too many words have been said and none of them can be taken back. Finally, she said, You saw what they saying? He nodded, not looking at her. Yeah, I saw. They tearing me apart, she whispered, calling me a liar, saying I'm faking for attention. You know the internet, he muttered. They just bored, she repeated, her tone rising. This is my life, Mendeecees, my family. You let them think I'm making it up. He took a deep breath, still not meeting her eyes. I told you I'd clear it up. I just need a minute to figure out how. She slammed her hand on the counter, the sound making him flinch. There's nothing to figure out. You say the truth. That's it. He looked up finally, his eyes tired but defiant. You think it's that simple? The second I say something, it's 10 more headlines. Mendeecees flips story. Mendeecees caught lying. I'm trying to move smart. Yandy stared at him, disbelief washing over her. So your pride's more important than me? He didn't answer, and that was enough of an answer. Her phone buzzed again, and she glanced down. It was a text from K. Michelle. It read, Girl, Call me, I got something you need to see. Her stomach dropped. She typed back quickly, what is it? No reply came right away. After a few minutes, her phone dinged again, this time, a video. It was a screen recording of Erica Mina's story. Yandy hit play. The video showed Erica sitting in her car. Hair perfect, nails flashing, smirking straight into the camera. Funny how some people love to play family on live, but deny it when it's real, she said. Then she looked dead into the lens, and added, guess it ain't his first time saying it's not his. Yandy froze. She did not just say that, she whispered. Mendeecees looked up from his phone. What now? Erica, she said through clenched teeth, turning the screen toward him. He watched the clip once, then rolled his eyes. Man, she just doing what she always do, trying to stay relevant. Yandy stood, voice trembling with anger. This woman is talking about you. She's implying something happened between y'all. He stepped closer. Because she petty, she'll know what she doing. And you gave her a reason to feel bold enough to post that, she snapped. He looked down, jaw tightening. So now everything's my fault again. When it comes to her, Yandy said. Yeah, because I don't believe she would risk saying that unless she got something to back it up. He shook his head. You really gonna take her word over mine? She laughed bitterly. You made it easy to doubt you. The tension was thick enough to choke on. She sat back down, tears welling again, but she blinked them away. You know what hurts the most, she said softly. It's not the denial, it's that you looked comfortable doing it. Like it wasn't the first time. He sighed, voice lower now. You act like I don't care, do you? She asked, looking up at him. Because it don't look like it. For a long time, he didn't speak. He just stood there, jaw clenched, chest rising and falling. Finally, he said, I messed up. Okay, I said the wrong thing. I ain't think it through. I was just tired of the world and our business. The world is our business. She shot back. We built our whole life in front of cameras, but there's a difference between being public and being cruel. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. You really think I'd embarrass you on purpose? I don't think you even realize you did, she said quietly. Across social media, fans were dissecting Erica's story. Some said she was just stirring the pot. Others claimed she and Mendeecees had been seen together months ago at a private event. Bloggers were uploading old clips from Love and Hip Hop, drawing connections that didn't exist but looked real enough to believe. By afternoon, even producers from the network were calling. They saw ratings potential, but Yandy wasn't thinking about cameras. She was thinking about her marriage, what it used to be and what it had become. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was Spice. Sis, you good? The message read. Yandy typed back quickly, trying to be. Erica posted something messy. Spice responded instantly. Don't let her win. Go live again and tell your truth. Yandy hesitated. Going live again felt like pouring gasoline on a fire. But silence was worse. She looked at Mendeecees, who was now scrolling through his phone again. I'm going live, she said finally. He glanced up. Don't? Why not? Because it'll make it worse. You'll look emotional, and they'll twist your words. She looked him dead in the eye. Maybe I am emotional. Maybe that's what people need to see. He stepped forward. Please, Yandy, just chill. We can handle this offline. Offline, she said bitterly. You denied me online. You can face the truth there too. Before he could stop her, she walked to the living room, set her phone on the stand, and hit go live. Within seconds, thousands joined. Her face was calm, but her voice trembled slightly. Hey y'all, she began softly. I wasn't gonna say anything else. But after everything that's been said, I feel like I have to. Comments flew in instantly. We got you, queen. Don't let him silence you. Spill it, sis. She continued. When I went live yesterday, I expected support. I expected honesty. But I didn't get that. And I won't pretend anymore. Yes, I'm pregnant. Yes, it's real. And no, I don't owe explanations to anyone, but I also won't let my truth be denied. In the background, Mendeecees appeared, shaking his head, whispering something like, come on Yandy. But she didn't stop. I've always stood by my husband, she said, eyes glistening. Through everything. Through prison. Through rumors. Through the hate. But last night hurt different. Fans flooded the chat with heart emojis and support. We love you. You're strong. Don't let him break you. Mendeecees leaned over, trying to end the live, but she moved her hand. Don't, she whispered sharply. He stepped back, staring at her with frustration and guilt tangled on his face. And right then, as her live hit over 50,000 viewers, a familiar username appeared again in the comments. Erica_Mena joined. The comments section exploded. The tension in the room hit a breaking point. Yandy's eyes flicked toward the screen, jaw tightening, while Mendeecees muttered under his breath, not again. The war had officially gone public. The comment section started flashing like a slot machine the moment Erica's name appeared. Hearts, fire emojis, and disbelief flooded the screen. Nah, not Erica joining again. She messy for this. This finna get ugly. Yandy froze mid-sentence, eyes glued to the screen. She inhaled deeply and forced a tight smile. You know what? She said into the phone. I don't even care who's watching. I'm telling my truth. Mendeecees stepped closer, whispering, end it. Yandy now. She ignored him. Every time something happens in my marriage, certain people seem to pop up, she said, her voice trembling. People who love chaos, who love to see a woman hurt. Erica commented, if the shoe fits. The chat exploded again. Erica out of pocket. Yandy about to snap. This is wild. Mendeecees moved behind Yandy, trying to block the phone camera with his hand. Enough of this mess, he said, his tone low and angry, but Yandy pushed his hand away, the camera shaking as she did. Don't touch my phone, she said sharply. You created this mess. You don't get to control the narrative now. Her voice cracked, raw and unfiltered. You embarrassed me in front of the whole world, and now you want to silence me. No. The tension was unbearable. Fans could feel it even through the screen. One comment read, this is not reality TV anymore. This is real life falling apart in front of us. Mendeecees' voice rose, firm but shaky. I told you. I ain't deny no baby. I just said I ain't know for sure yet. Yandy turned toward him, disbelief flashing in her eyes. How do you not know for sure when I showed you the ultrasound? He threw his hands up. Man, I said I ain't want to talk about this online. Too late, she said. You made it online the second you denied me. Erica typed again. Lol can't even keep his story straight. The comments scrolled faster. Erica messy AF, Yandy don't cry. Mendeecees looked guilty. Yandy's eyes welled again, but she kept talking. I've always defended this man. I built with him. I fought for him when everyone said I shouldn't, but I won't let anyone husband or not make me feel like I imagined my own reality. The live count climbed to 70,000. Spice joined again, dropping a comment. Yandy log off sis. They don't deserve your tears. But Yandy kept going, her emotions spilling over. You know what's crazy, she said, laughing bitterly. I found messages 2 weeks ago. I didn't say nothing. I told myself, trust him, don't make assumptions. And now I'm the fool on live being called a liar. The audience lost it. Messages. She found proof. It's over. Mendeecees' face dropped. Yandy, don't do this. Why not? Oof. It's over. Mendeecees' face dropped. Yandy, don't do this. Why not? She shot back. You weren't worried about the cameras when you humiliated me. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. You've gone regret saying that? No, she said. You gone regret doing it. The silence that followed was thick. Her breathing was shaky. His jaw was locked. Fans watched, stunned, unable to look away. Then Yandy's phone buzzed, mid-leave a call coming through. She glanced down, and her expression changed completely. It's Jasmine, she said quietly. The chat went insane. Jasmine. Nah, not Kirk's Jasmine. What she want now? Mendeecees looked panicked. Don't answer that on live. She ignored him again. Hey girl, she said, putting the phone on speaker. A voice came through, muffled but clear enough. Yandy, turn that camera off for a sec. This is serious. It's already serious, Yandy said, voice shaking. Everyone's watching. Fine, Jasmine said. Then let them hear it. I saw Erica last week at a party. She was bragging, saying she'd been talking to Mendeecees for months. I didn't want to believe it, but she showed messages. Gasps filled the comments. Oh my god, she got receipts. This wild. Mendeecees' face turned pale. That's a lie. That's straight up a lie. Yandy stared at him. You sure? Man. Yes, I'm sure. I ain't talked to that girl since last season. Jasmine's voice came again. I ain't saying you did or didn't, but she got screenshots. She said she was gonna drop them if Yandy didn't learn her place. The room went silent again. Fans typed faster, tagging every gossip page. The receipts coming. Erica messy, but she dangerous. Poor Yandy. Yandy swallowed hard. So that's what this is about, she said quietly. Control? Humiliation? Mendeecees shook his head, pacing behind her. This whole thing getting twisted. I can't even speak without it blowing up. She looked up at him, voice calm but cold now. That's because you already blew it up. Erica commented again. Receipts, loading. Mendeecees ran a hand down his face. She bluffing. But everyone watching knew the game had changed. Blogs were already clipping the moment, tagging it Yandy Live Meltdown, Erica vs Yandy, Round 1, Mendeecees exposed. In the middle of it all, Yandy sat still, staring into the camera, her expression unreadable. "You can lie to me," she said softly, "but you can't lie to the world forever. Truth always finds a way out." The live hit 95,000 viewers before she finally hit end. The screen went black, but the internet stayed awake. Within minutes, screenshots were everywhere. Erica Mena was trending. And the headlines were brutal. Yandy betrayed again. Mendeecees accused of secret affair. Pregnancy denial turns into war. In Atlanta that night, storm clouds gathered, thunder rolling through the skyline as if the city itself was reacting. And inside that quiet house, two phones kept buzzing side by side, both lighting up with the same thing: notifications, rumors, and the sound of a marriage crumbling one post at a time. The morning after the live, the frost between them had hardened into ice. Yandy woke up to her phone vibrating non-stop on the nightstand, her name flashing across every gossip page. One headline read, "Erica Mena promises to drop receipts today at noon." Another said, "Yandy breaks silence, calls out lies." The internet was on fire, counting down as if waiting for a movie premiere. In the kitchen, Mendeecees was already up, pacing with his phone to his ear. "Nah, I don't want no interviews," he said into it. "Tell them, I'm not doing no statements till I talk to my wife." He hung up when he heard her footsteps. "So now you want to talk to your wife?" Yandy asked quietly. She looked exhausted, eyes swollen from crying, wearing one of his sweatshirts that now felt too big. He sighed. "Look, I ain't perfect, but you gotta stop thinking I'm the enemy. Then stop acting like one." She poured coffee, hands trembling. "You denied me, you embarrassed me, and now Erica Mena out here saying she got proof. You tell me how I'm supposed to feel." He rubbed his forehead. "I already told you. That girl lying. She just mad 'cause I ain't entertain her." "Entertain her," Yandy repeated, her tone cutting. "So you were talking." He paused too long before answering. "I said I ain't entertain her." "You're unbelievable," she muttered, setting her cup down hard enough to spill. "You realize this isn't about her anymore. It's about you lying by omission." The house felt smaller with every word. Outside, fans were camping in comment sections, waiting for noon like it was Judgment Day. Her phone buzzed again, text from Spice. "She really about to drop them screenshots, girl. You better get ahead of it." Yandy showed it to him. "So, still nothing to say." He looked up, eyes red. "What you want me to say? I didn't cheat." "Then say it loud," she said, stepping closer. "Say it like you said she's not pregnant. Look me in the eyes and say it." He held her stare for a long time. "I didn't cheat." She didn't blink. "Do you believe that?" He opened his mouth, then closed it again. Her phone rang a known number. She hesitated, then answered on speaker. "Hello?" A woman's voice came through, confident, almost smug. "Tell your husband to stop calling me a liar." Yandy froze. "Who is this?" "You know who it is?" The voice replied. "And just so we're clear, the receipts ain't fake." Mendeecees snatched the phone, voice rising. "Erica, stop playing on my wife's phone." Her laugh came sharp through the speaker. "Playing? Oh baby. I got screenshots, timestamps, even that little heart emoji you like to send. Remember?" Yandy's hand went to her mouth. "You're lying," she whispered. "Am I?" Erica said. "Then tell him to explain why he was texting me about unfinished business." Mendeecees looked trapped, words dying before they left his mouth. "Man, I save it," Yandy snapped, grabbing her phone back. "We'll see at noon." She hung up and stared at him, breathing hard. "Unfinished business. Really? It wasn't what it sounds like," he said quickly. She twisting it. "How does one twist a message like that?" She said. "You knew what she wanted, and you kept talking." "I was trying to keep the peace," he said weakly. "Peace?" She laughed bitterly. "You're confusing peace with access." He looked at her helplessly, but she walked past him, phone in hand. "It's over," she said quietly. "Whatever this is, I'm done protecting it." As noon approached, the internet boiled. Hashtag Eric Receipts was trending. Fans were refreshing every few seconds, waiting for her promise drop. At exactly 12:01, Erica posted a carousel of screenshots to Instagram, messages with heart emojis, late-night timestamps, and one line that broke the internet. "We can't keep doing this. She'll find out." Within minutes, Shade Room reposted it, followed by Hollywood Unlocked and dozens of fan accounts. Mendeecees caught red-handed. The caption screamed. The screenshots looked real enough to ruin everything. Yandy sat on the couch, staring at her screen. Her hands shook, but her face stayed calm. "It's real," she said quietly. "It's your number, your words." He leaned over her shoulder. "That could be fake." "Could be," she said flatly. "But is it?" He said nothing. She looked up at him. "This is why you denied me. This is why you've been distant. You weren't protecting me. You were protecting her." "Nah," he said softly. I was trying to protect us. She stood up, voice low but sharp. Bye, Lion. He didn't answer. Her phone buzzed again this time. A call from K. Michelle. Yandy hesitated, then answered. Girl, Kay said immediately. Don't let that woman humiliate you. I got connections at the network. If you want, I'll make sure her scenes get cut from the next season. Yandy sighed. This ain't about TV anymore. Kay, this is real life. Mendeecees muttered. Real life that everybody watching. She turned to him, tears finally spilling over. Because you made it that way? Outside, thunder cracked. The storm from the night before had returned. Rain started tapping against the windows, matching the rhythm of her anger. You remember when we said we were unbreakable? She whispered. Turns out we were just on camera. He reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Her phone buzzed again this time, a message from Spice. You good, sis? Yandy typed back. No, but I will be. She looked at Mendeecees one last time and said quietly, I'm going to my mom's for a while. He stepped forward. Yandy, don't do this. You did it for me, she said. Then she grabbed her keys, walked out into the rain, and didn't look back. The internet kept spinning, dissecting, reacting, but in that moment, for the first time in years, Yandy didn't care what anyone thought. She just needed air. And behind her, Mendeecees stood in their quiet house, surrounded by his phone, his mistakes, and the sound of everything he'd built, starting to fall apart. By evening, the storm had passed over Atlanta, but the air still carried that heavy silence that follows destruction. Puddles covered the street outside Yandy's mother's house, where she sat curled up on the couch, blanket over her knees, phone in hand but unread messages piling up. Every few minutes she'd open Instagram, scroll through the chaos, and then toss the phone aside again. Every headline screamed the same thing. Mendeecees caught cheating. Erica Mena drops receipts. Yandy leaves family home. Her mom came into the room quietly, setting down a cup of tea. You haven't eaten all day, she said gently. Yandy forced a smile. Not hungry. You can't let this eat you alive, her mom said, sitting beside her. You've hungry. You can't let this eat you alive, her mom said, sitting beside her. You've been through worse. Yandy stared at the window, watching raindrops slide down the glass. No, Mama. This feels different. This one hit where it hurts most. Her phone buzzed again, this time a call from Spice. She hesitated, then answered. Girl, you trending everywhere, Spice said, voice full of concern. You okay? Not really, Yandy admitted. Listen, I know you hurting, but don't let them break you, Spice said. You built your name off strength. Now they watching to see if you fold. Yandy sighed. I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of fighting for something that keeps cutting me. Then stop fighting for him, Spice said firmly. Fight for you. For a moment, Yandy said nothing. Her mom reached over and squeezed her hand, silent but knowing. Meanwhile, across town, Mendeecees was pacing in the living room, surrounded by the glow of his phone screen. His notifications were endless missed calls, angry texts, and thousands of comments calling him every name in the book. He threw the phone down and muttered, "This getting out of hand." His friend and manager, Rico, was sitting on the couch. "Bro, you gotta say something," Rico said. "This ain't going away by itself. If I say something, it sound like excuses," Mendeecees replied. "Then show proof," Rico said. "If she faked them messages, prove it." "You think I got time to Photoshop?" Mendeecees snapped. "She probably hacked something or got old texts." Rico raised an eyebrow. "So there were texts." Mendeecees looked away. "Man, they wasn't nothing deep, just old convos." "She reached out, I responded. That's it." Rico exhaled, shaking his head. "You realize that's exactly what cheating looks like, right?" "It wasn't like that," Mendeecees muttered, voice lower. "But it don't matter. People already believe what they want." Back at Yandy's mom's house, her phone buzzed again, a notification from the network. They wanted a statement before the next episode aired. "They trying to make this part of the show," she said bitterly. Her mom frowned. "Don't give them that. Don't let them turn your pain into entertainment." But the decision wasn't hers anymore. Producers were already editing the footage, crafting their version of the truth. And in that version, she was the broken wife and he was the villain. Later that night, Mendeecees went live on his own account. His face looked tired, voice steady but nervous. "Look," he began, "I know everybody's seen what's going on. I ain't perfect. I made mistakes, but I ain't cheat. Those messages, they old. People using M to tear us apart." The comments came fast. "So you did talk to her. Why lie then? We don't believe you." He continued, "I love my wife. I'll always love her. but y'all need to stop spreading lies. Everything don't gotta be public. But the damage was already done. His tone sounded defensive, his words too careful. Fans clipped the video within minutes, twisting it into headlines like Mendeecees defends himself but admits to texting Erica. Yandy saw the clips while scrolling later that night. She turned her phone over and whispered to herself, "He still don't get it." The next day, she went quiet on social media, but her silence only made things louder. Blogs speculated about her pregnancy, fans flooded her old posts with heart emojis and broken hearts. And everyone was waiting for one thing: her response. That afternoon, she finally posted an Instagram story. No captions, no words, just a black and white picture of her holding her stomach, wedding ring off. Within 10 minutes, it had over 500,000 likes. Comments poured in. "Queen energy. We see your strength." She's done protecting him. Mendeecees saw it too. He threw his phone across the room, muttering, "She really done with me." And maybe for the first time, he believed it. That night, he drove to her mother's house. When Yandy opened the door, she didn't look surprised. "What do you want, Mendeecees?" she asked quietly. "To talk," he said. "Talk or spin." He sighed. "Please, just hear me out." Her mom appeared in the hallway, arms crossed. "You got 5 minutes," she said coldly, then walked away. They stood facing each other in the living room. He looked smaller, somehow no cameras, no filters, no excuses. "I never meant to hurt you," he said softly. "I was stupid. I thought I could handle things my way, but I made it worse." "You think?" she said, eyes glistening. "You made me feel invisible." He nodded slowly. "I know, and I can't fix it overnight. But I'm sorry. I really am." She looked at him, quiet for a long time. "Sorry doesn't undo humiliation," she said. "I'll prove it," he said, voice breaking slightly. "I'll fix this. No matter what it takes." "Don't say that unless you mean it," she whispered. "I mean it." She looked away, blinking back tears. "Then prove it by staying silent. Let your actions talk for once." He nodded, tears forming in his own eyes. "Okay." For the first time in days, the room fell silent, not with anger, but with something softer, something uncertain. Outside, the rain had finally stopped, but the streets still shimmered with the reflection of what had passed. And as Mendeecees turned to leave, Yandy whispered under her breath, "Some storms don't destroy, they just show you who's willing to stand in the rain." He paused at the door, then nodded once. Neither of them knew what came next, but for the first time in a long time, it felt real. 2 days later, Atlanta felt quieter, though the internet hadn't stopped screaming. Gossip channels kept dissecting every frame of both their lives, fan pages spinning new theories by the hour. Some claimed Yandy was already filing for separation. Others swore the black and white stomach post was a teaser for a reality TV special. The truth was simpler: she was just trying to breathe. The camera lights, the constant phones, the buzz of strangers' opinions, it had all become too loud. So that morning, she left her phone on silent, tied her hair in a bun, and went walking with her mom around Piedmont Park. The grass was still damp from the storm, and for once, no one stopped her for selfies or questions. Her mom said, "When a man loses your trust, it's not your job to help him find it again." Yandy sighed. "But part of me still wants to believe he didn't mean it that way." "Intent don't matter when the wound's already open," her mom said softly. "You either heal, or you keep bleeding." Yandy nodded, eyes on the skyline. "I just don't know if healing means staying or leaving." Meanwhile, across the city, Mendeecees sat in the studio with Rico again, scrolling through comments in frustration. "Man, no matter what I post, they twist it. I said I ain't cheat, and now they calling it a confession." Rico shook his head. "Bro, you keep feeding it. The only thing that works right now is silence. If you want her back, stop performing for the world." Mendeecees tossed the phone aside. "That's easy for you to say. It ain't your whole life online." Rico leaned forward. "But it is your wife's life. She hurting, man. And every time you post, you make it about you." He sat back, staring at the floor. "You think it's too late? For headlines? No, for love. Maybe not, but you gotta show up." That evening, Mendeecees pulled up outside Yandy's mom's house again. This time, he didn't call first. He just stood at the door until it opened. Yandy's mom looked at him with that sharp, protective stare only mothers have. "She's in the back," she said. "But if you're here to talk circles, turn back now." He nodded. "I just want to tell her something." Yandy was in the backyard, sitting under the patio lights, scrolling through old photos on her phone, pictures of them smiling, kids between them, vacations, birthday dinners. It was the version of their life she wished had lasted. She looked up when she heard his footsteps. "I told you I needed space." "I know," he said quietly. "I ain't staying long." She folded her arms. "Then say what you need to say." He hesitated, then pulled a folded letter from his pocket. "I wrote this. I didn't post it, didn't text it, just wrote it. For you." She looked wary. "You could have said whatever you needed to my face." "Nah," he said, shaking his head. "Every time I talk, I mess it up. So just read it later." He placed the letter on the table beside her. She stared at it but didn't pick it up. "What does it say?" He exhaled slowly. "It says I remember who we were before the cameras, before the blogs, before people had opinions on our every move. It says I let pride and pressure make me someone I don't even recognize. And it says I know, sorry ain't enough, but I'm still saying it." For a second, the air went still. She swallowed hard, eyes glistening again. "You should have said that on live," she whispered. He gave a small, sad smile. "Nah, some things don't belong to the internet." That answer hit her differently, gentle, not defensive. "Do you love me?" she asked suddenly. "Always," he said without hesitation. "Even when I mess up, even when I don't know how to show it. Then why do I feel like I'm the only one fighting?" He stepped closer. "Because you've always been the strong one, and I took that for granted." Her throat tightened, and for a moment, neither spoke. The cicadas outside hummed, the soft hum of traffic blending with their silence. He said finally, "I'm not asking for a pass. I just want a chance to rebuild. For you, for the baby." Her eyes flicked toward his face at that word baby. "You still saying the baby like it's just an idea?" she said quietly. He nodded. "Then I'll say our baby. Because I know better now." A tear slid down her cheek, but she didn't wipe it. "Words are easy, Mendeecees." "Then I'll back 'em up," he said. "I'll go public. I'll clear your name. I'll say what I should have said that night." She shook her head. "No, not for the world. For us." He nodded again. "For us." The silence after that wasn't angry anymore. It was the fragile kind that comes when two people run out of defenses but still have something left to lose. When he finally left, she stayed sitting there for a long time, staring at the letter under the patio light. Then she opened it. His handwriting was messy, uneven, but honest. He'd written about how scared he was of becoming the man the world mocked. How pride kept him quiet. How he wished he'd stood beside her instead of against her. The last line read, "If love is still in you, let me earn it back one action at a time." Yandy folded the letter carefully, her tears smudging the ink. For the first time in days, she didn't feel anger, just exhaustion mixed with the faintest trace of hope. She whispered to herself, maybe actions can talk louder than live streams. The next morning, when she woke up, her phone was filled with messages again, but one notification stood out. Mendeecees had posted a simple photo, a black background with white text that read, "Public apologies mean nothing without private accountability." No tags, no explanations. Just that. And for the first time, the internet didn't explode with chaos. Instead, it went quiet, almost like everyone knew something real was shifting behind the scenes. And in that quiet, between two bruised hearts, and a world that had watched too much, a small space opened for forgiveness. Fragile but still alive. The quiet didn't last long. By the end of that week, Mendeecees' post had turned into its own kind of wildfire, an emotional one. Blogs reposted it with captions like, "Mendeecees finally owns up, and is this the start of a public reconciliation?" Fans filled comment sections with mixed emotions. Some wrote, "He's finally learning." Others, "Too little too late." But for once, the story wasn't spinning out of control. It was slowing down, almost shifting into something heavier, something human. Yandy saw the post while sitting on the porch with her mom. She didn't like how the internet could turn pain into poetry, but she couldn't deny the way the words hit her. Public apologies mean nothing without private accountability. It was the first thing he'd said publicly that didn't sound defensive, didn't sound like performance. Her mom glanced at the phone. "He wrote that for you." "Maybe," Yandy said softly. "Or maybe he wrote it for himself." "You know the difference," her mom replied, sipping her tea. That night, she didn't call him, but she didn't block him either. Instead, she opened his text from earlier that morning. "Let me take you to the doctor next week, please." It was simple, but it stayed on her screen for a long time. After a few minutes, she typed back, "Okay." When Mendeecees saw that one word, reply, he exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for days. For the first time since the live stream, he smiled without forcing it. The following Tuesday, they walked into the clinic together. It wasn't romantic, no hand-holding, no small talk, but it was something. Fans spotted them in the lobby, snapped blurry photos, and by afternoon, the internet had its new headline, Yandy and Mendeecees spotted together again. But this time, Yandy didn't care. The nurse called her name, and as she stood up, Mendeecees rose too. She glanced at him, expecting him to stay behind, but he said, "I'm coming." Inside the small room, the lights were soft, and the machine hummed quietly. Yandy lay back while the doctor prepared the ultrasound. Mendeecees stood at her side, fidgeting, nervous like it was their first time all over again. "You ready?" the doctor asked. Yandy nodded. The room went still, and then came the sound, a steady, rhythmic heartbeat echoing from the monitor. For a second, both of them froze. Mendeecees' eyes widened. "That's our baby." Yandy turned her head, tears already forming. "Yeah." He covered his mouth, shaking his head slowly. "Wow. His voice broke mid-sentence. "I messed up so bad." She didn't answer, just kept watching the small flicker on the screen. When it was over, she wiped her eyes and sat up. "See," she said softly, "it was never about the rumors. I just wanted you to believe in us again." He nodded, voice low. "I do now. More than ever." The drive home was quiet, but different from before. There was no shouting, no bitterness, just the weight of everything they'd both done, and everything they might still repair. Later that evening, they sat in the living room, the sound of their kids playing upstairs faint in the background. Mendeecees looked at her and said, "You want me to delete my socials?" She raised an eyebrow. "Delete? Yeah. I don't want our life to be content anymore." She looked at him for a long moment, then said, "It's not about deleting. It's about boundaries. I don't mind being public. I just want to keep what's sacred." "Sacred?" He nodded. "Then we start over. No more half-truths. No more hiding. Starting over means earning it," she said quietly. "And that takes time." He smiled faintly. "Then I'll take all the time you give me." The next morning, she posted for the first time in a week a simple photo of her hand holding his. The ultrasound image visible beneath, no caption, just a white heart emoji. Within hours, every platform lit up. Yandy and Mendeecees reconcile. New beginnings. Is this love's comeback story? But Yandy wasn't thinking about the internet anymore. She was thinking about that heartbeat, about the quiet hum of forgiveness slowly rebuilding where chaos had lived. That night, while closing the curtains, she turned to him and said, "Don't thank me for staying. Thank me when we're better." He nodded, stepping closer. "I'll do more than thank you." For the first time in weeks, the house felt like home again. The laughter of their kids filled the hallway. And somewhere between the soft light and the quiet rhythm of that heartbeat still echoing in her mind, Yandy realized something: love didn't always look perfect. Sometimes it looked like survival, sometimes like repair. And though the world would keep guessing what came next, only they knew the truth. The story wasn't over. It was just finally being rewritten, this time without an audience. Weeks passed, and for the first time in months, their names began to fade from the trending lists. No more headlines. No more theories. No more chaos. It was almost strange for Yandy to wake up and not find her face on a gossip blog. She'd started journaling again, filling the pages with small things: morning cravings, baby names, moments of calm. Their house felt different now, slower. Mendeecees had taken a step back from the spotlight, turning down interviews, skipping events, even deleting half his old posts. He spent most days at home with the kids or driving Yandy to her checkups. It wasn't perfect, sometimes the silence between them was still fragile, but it was real. One afternoon, while sitting in the backyard, Yandy watched him help Omer with his bike. The sun was dipping low, painting the sky in orange and pink. For a moment, she forgot about the hurt. All she saw was the man she'd fallen in love with, the one who'd once promised her stability, laughter, family. He looked up and caught her watching. "What?" he asked, smiling a little. She shook her head. "Nothing. Just. This feels different." "Different bad or different good?" "Different peaceful," she said. He nodded, a quiet relief in his eyes. "I'll take peaceful." A few days later, Spice came by to visit. She brought flowers, gifts for the baby, and her usual blunt honesty. "Girl, I almost went live myself when he denied that pregnancy," she said, laughing. "But look at y'all now, new chapter." Yandy smiled. Yeah, a quieter one. You sure you ain't coming back for the reunion taping? Spice asked, sipping her drink. Yandy shook her head. No, not this season. I'm choosing peace over ratings. Spice laughed. Look at you sounding grown and healed. Trying to be, Yandy said. Later that night, after Spice left, Yandy walked into the kitchen and found Mendeecees scrolling through photos from the last few weeks' family dinners, park days, ultrasound pictures. You know what's wild, he said. I thought stepping back would make me disappear. But it's the first time I actually feel seen. She leaned against the counter. That's because you're finally showing up. He smiled. You ain't gotta remind me. Oh, I'm gonna remind you forever. She teased, and for the first time, he really laughed. A few nights later, they had dinner with close friends Spice, K. Michelle, and a few others. The atmosphere was light, full of teasing and small jokes, but halfway through the night, K. Michelle raised her glass and said, to healing in public but loving in private. Everyone laughed, but Yandy felt that one. On the way home, she said quietly, you think we can really do that? Love in private. Mendeecees reached over, taking her hand. We can try. And this time, I won't ruin it. When they got home, she went upstairs first, changed into one of his shirts, and stood by the window. She could see the reflection of him downstairs, turning off lights, checking locks, the quiet routines of normal life. It hit her how much she'd missed ordinary peace. Before bed, he handed her something, a small velvet box. She frowned. What's this? Not a ring, he said quickly. Just something new. Inside was a simple gold bracelet engraved with 2 words, starting over. Her eyes softened. You really trying, huh? He smiled. Yeah, I finally realized love ain't about being right. It's about being present. She looked at the bracelet for a long moment before slipping it on. Then be present. Every day. He nodded. I will. And for once, there was no audience to perform for, no drama to feed. Just 2 people who had broken, stumbled, and somehow found the strength to rebuild from the ashes of a scandal. Months later, when the baby was born, a healthy girl with her mother's eyes and her father's calm smile, the first photo they posted wasn't to announce or explain. It was just their hands, hers tiny and perfect, resting on top of theirs. The caption read, "Peace restored." And for once, the world didn't argue. It just watched quietly, almost respectfully, as the story that had started with a public denial ended with a quiet kind of truth. No filters. No drama. Just love that had survived the noise. The morning light slipped through the curtains, soft and pale, touching everything in gold. Yandy stirred first, the baby still sleeping in her arms. It was too early for cameras, too early for phone calls. She looked at the small face pressed against her chest and whispered, "You have no idea how much peace you brought with you." Downstairs, she could hear Mendeecees moving around quietly, trying not to wake the house. The faint sound of dishes, the smell of coffee, ordinary things, real things, the kind that never made it into blog headlines but held everything together. When he came upstairs, he leaned in the doorway, watching her. "You look happy," he said softly. "I am," she said. "Tired, but happy." He smiled. "Tired and happy sounds like parenthood to me." She looked up at him, studying his face. "It also sounds like redemption." He sat beside her, careful not to wake the baby. "You think we made it through?" "No," she said, shaking her head gently. "We're still making it through. There's a difference." He nodded, understanding what she meant. It wasn't over. It was ongoing. A quiet daily choice to forgive, to try, to grow. A few weeks later, the network reached out again, offering them a special episode, "Your Comeback Story," the producer said over the phone, his voice too eager. "The fans want closure. We'll film it your way." Yandy hung up after a polite no. She didn't tell Mendeecees until dinner. "They want us back on TV," she said, passing him the salad. He raised an eyebrow. "You said no." "I said no." He smiled. "Good. I like this version of us better." "Me too," she said. "Real life's enough drama." They laughed quietly. The kind of laughter that comes when 2 people finally feel safe again. Days melted into weeks. The gossip sites moved on. Erica Mena found new headlines. Spice went on tour. And K. Michelle dropped a song that fans swore was about broken love rebuilt. Yandy and Mendeecees didn't comment, didn't post. Their silence became its own statement. One afternoon, they visited the park with the kids. The air was warm, and the world felt simple again. Fans spotted them, whispered, pointed, but no one approached. Maybe because the energy was different now. Softer, untouchable. As the sun dipped low, Yandy sat on a bench, watching Mendeecees push the stroller. "You know what's funny?" she said when he sat beside her. We used to think being seen meant being loved. He looked at her, a quiet smile forming. And now I know love don't need proof. It just needs peace. He reached for her hand. You gave me both. No, she said softly. We earned them. For a while they sat there, just listening to the breeze, the sound of kids laughing in the distance. The city around them moved fast, but they didn't. They'd finally learned to move slow. Later that night, when they got home, Mendeecees found Yandy sitting by the window again. Baby monitor beside her. Journal open. You writing? He asked. Yeah, she said, smiling faintly. Just a little something for her. So when she grows up, she knows love isn't perfect, but it can survive if you fight for it the right way. He kissed the top of her head. She's gonna have a good story to read one day. No, Yandy said, closing the journal. She's gonna have a good example to see. The house fell quiet again, filled with the sounds of breathing, the rhythm of a new life beginning. And somewhere between forgiveness and memory, between the chaos they'd endured and the calm they'd built, Mendeecees reached for her hand one last time that night and said quietly, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Yandy squeezed his hand. Just make sure I never have to again. And that was it. No grand ending. No headlines. No audience waiting for drama. Just two people, bruised but still standing, who had found a way to turn denial into devotion and heartbreak into home. The world would forget the scandal one day, but in that small house in Atlanta, under soft light and quiet promises, the truth stayed alive. Forgiveness isn't a moment, it's a practice. And real love never needed the cameras to prove it. Months passed. The baby grew fast, filling the house with laughter, late-night cries, and the kind of noise that felt healing. Mornings began with cereal bowls and tiny feet running across the floor instead of phone alerts and comment notifications. Their home, once a backdrop for rumors, finally sounded like a family again. Yandy's days became slower, gentler. She spent hours in the kitchen with her mother, writing down old recipes, humming quietly as she cooked. Sometimes she caught herself glancing at the clock, remembering how she used to time her posts and lives. Now, her only schedule was nap time. Mendeecees had changed too. The constant need to defend himself was gone. He started volunteering at a youth center in the city, helping young men build small businesses. Ain't no fixing the past, he told one of them, but you can build something solid from it. People listened, maybe because he finally sounded like he meant it. One evening, after dinner, he sat on the porch watching the sun slip behind the houses. Yandy joined him with 2 mugs of tea. The air smelled like rain again, the kind of humid calm Atlanta always carried before a storm. Remember that night? He asked. Which one? She said, smiling. The whole mess. Feels like another lifetime. She nodded. It does, but we survived it. He looked at her for a long moment. You think people ever really move on from being dragged like that? No, she said honestly, but they learn how to walk through it without limping. He laughed softly. You always got a quote ready. I've been through enough to earn a few. A quiet fell between them, the kind of silence that didn't feel heavy anymore. Then Yandy said, I was thinking, maybe we should go away for a while. Somewhere quiet, just us and the kids. You mean like disappear? No, just live without showing it. He nodded. Yeah, I like that. A month later, they rented a small place on the coast. No cameras, no stylists, no producers, just ocean air and sunlight on the walls. The baby learned to crawl there. Omer found seashells and Skylar drew hearts in the sand. It wasn't a perfect vacation. There were still small arguments, moments of fatigue, but it felt honest. One night, while the waves thumped softly outside, Yandy found Mendeecees sitting by the window, sketching something in a notebook. What you working on? She asked. A book idea, he said. Not a tell-all, just something about redemption. How men gotta stop confusing ego for strength. She smiled. You think anyone will read it? Maybe not, but maybe one day our son will. She touched his shoulder. Then it'll be worth it. Back in Atlanta, when they returned, their phones started buzzing again. Producers, sponsors, magazines. But this time, neither of them rushed to answer. They knew peace didn't trend, but it lasted longer. Months later, on the anniversary of that infamous live, Yandy posted something for the first time in weeks. Just a video of waves rolling over sand, her voice faint in the background saying, we survived the noise. No hashtags, no tags, no captions. It went viral again, but differently this time. Instead of gossip, people shared it for its calmness. Growth looks good on them, one fan wrote. They really made it through. And somewhere in that truth, far from the headlines and studio lights, Mendeecees sat beside her, the baby asleep between them, whispering, Funny how the same world that watched us fall now watches us heal. Yandy smiled, closing her eyes. Let them watch, she said. This time, it's not a performance. It's peace. Outside, the night was quiet, the city lights soft and distant. No cameras, no drama, no scripts, just to people who had finally learned how to live past the story. So here we are, family after months of chaos, heartbreak, rumors, and tears. The truth finally came full circle. The same story that began with a live stream and a denial ended with forgiveness, growth, and a new beginning. Yandy and Mendeecees didn't just survive public humiliation, they rebuilt something stronger out of it. And that's why this story hit people differently. It wasn't just celebrity drama anymore. It became a lesson about love, pride, and the difference between showing off your relationship and actually doing the work to protect it. Because let's be honest, when Mendeecees looked into that camera and said, "I don't know yet," nobody expected things to end with another heartbeat in the family. That moment felt final. Fans saw the pain in Yandy's eyes. It became a symbol of every woman who's ever stood beside a man and felt unseen. The internet felt unseen. The internet dragged him, defended her, and then moved on, but Yandy didn't move on. She moved through it. And that's what makes this story powerful. In a world that lives for public breakdowns, she chose private healing. She walked away, took her time, built boundaries, and came back stronger, not for the blogs, not for the followers, but for herself and her children. And when she let forgiveness in, she didn't do it for image or control. She did it because peace was louder than revenge. If you followed Yandy and Mendeecees for years, you know their story's never been clean. They've had highs and lows, loyalty tested by time, distance, and pride. But this chapter showed something new. The world finally saw Mendeecees drop the walls, admit his faults, and choose humility over headlines. Not everyone gets that far, and that's what this whole story really means. It's not about perfection, it's about the power of staying human in front of the whole world. Because in the end, love doesn't survive on likes, comments, or hash. It survives in the quiet moments, after the noise dies down, when you still choose each other in the silence. Maybe that's why fans couldn't stop watching. They saw pieces of themselves, and it's the arguments that go too far, the apologies that come too late, the second chances we give, even when our hearts are tired. Yandy and Mendeecees didn't give the world a fairy tale ending. They gave it something better, something real. Now look at them. No more posts for validation. No more reacting to every rumor. No more letting strangers narrate their love story. Just family, faith, and the kind of peace that only comes after surviving a storm. And the best part, they didn't let that viral moment define them. They turned it into a lesson that love without communication dies. That silence can hurt as much as betrayal, and that healing doesn't need an audience. So if you're watching this, if you've made it this far in the story, ask yourself, how many times have you let pride ruin something pure? How many times have you chosen to win an argument instead of win back peace? Because that's where their story hits home. It forces you to look at your own. Yandy's strength wasn't in staying, it was in knowing when to step back. And Mendeecees' redemption didn't come from posting an apology, it came from showing up when no one was watching. Because in the end, that's what love really demands, presence, not performance. And whether you love them, judge them, or just watch them like characters in a show, you have to admit there's something inspiring about two people who lost everything in front of millions and still found their way back to each other quietly. Away from the noise. It's messy, it's human, it's real. So now, as we close this chapter, here's the part where I turn it to you, because you know I always want to hear from y'all. What do you think? Was Yandy right to forgive? Or should she have walked away for good? Do you think people can really change after public betrayal? Or is peace just temporary before the next storm? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because this one's going to get everyone talking. And if you've ever been in Yandy's position, or even Mendeecees, you know how hard it is to face your mistakes when the world's watching. That's why this story matters. It's not just tea, it's testimony. So hit that like button if you felt this one. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's struggling with love, forgiveness, or starting over. Because sometimes the biggest inspiration doesn't come from perfect people. It comes from the ones who fail publicly but rise quietly. And if you've been following our channel, you already know this is what we do. We talk about the stories behind the headlines, the emotions behind the drama, and the lessons that get buried under the gossip. Because at the end of the day, every scandal tells a story, and every story has a truth. So make sure you're subscribed, and turn on that notification bell, because we're not done yet. This season, we're diving even deeper into the real, raw moments behind Atlanta's most talked about stars. And you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, before we go, let's give a little moment of respect to what Yandy taught everyone watching. Everyone watching, sometimes the loudest revenge is peace. Sometimes the best clapback is silence. And sometimes the most viral thing you can do is choose healing over chaos. Because no matter how the world spins it, that's how you win. So comment Team Peace below if you're rooting for growth over gossip. If you're tired of fake drama and ready for real stories, and if you believe love can still rise from the mess, let's flood the chat with emojis right now. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for being part of this journey. This has been one wild ride, but if you've learned anything from Yandy and Mendeecees, it's that every ending can still become a beginning when you stop performing and start healing. This is your host, signing off with one final reminder: protect your peace, guard your love, and never let the internet tell your story for you. See you in the next one, family. Stay tuned, stay real, and remember, drama fades, but truth always survives.